Well, it looks like 6 is the magic number. There's actually the 7th one, but he's the controlling, he's a Darlington transistor. He's the driver that drives the pass transistors. So each pass transistor has to have a, I guess you'd consider it a ballast resistor. The power supply is going to see the IR drop across each one of these, and it's going to look at that as part of the current feedback, and that's part of the current regulation. So it's not only to balance out the emitter degeneration, but they're handy because we can see the current that's actually flowing through the transistors from these guys. They're acting like shunts. These are half ohm. I think they're 50 watt. The hard part is finding a resistor like the 5 watt. I needed something that was compact. You can see here they kind of take up a lot of room there, so we're going with the flat pack, these little flat pack resistors. So they'll get rid of their heat directly into the heatsink. So one of the problems here is that the board would protrude this way, and it's going to take up X amount of space in the power supply. And we want to go active cooling, which means we'd have to put fans on the ends. But this is looking to be somewhat impractical. Now, typically, the heat sinks would be on the back with the tow 3 packages. And I didn't get these in tow 3, although I can get them in tow 3. The hard part is getting the heat sinks. So there are ways of getting tow 3 heat sinks that are the metal can. These are the tow 3Ps. But the trouble is that technology is being moved away from, so they get expensive unless you buy them from eBay. And they're getting a little bit more difficult to source because MOSFETs are dominating the world. So getting tow 3 heat sinks is becoming impractical. Everything is these flat heat sinks anymore, but that's okay. You can see that if we went this way, that the leads are going to have to go through the board, but I think we want to mount this to the backside of the box so that it can get the cooling it needs. And if we have to, we can put a cage around it and then fans, and we can go to great lengths to do that. We can fabricate some kind of a blower assembly, but for now I'm just trying to consider mounting this. And so it looks like for space and the way it's going to work out, we can't go this route. So it looks to me like we're going to have to go this way instead, which means we're going to have to make a paddle that straps to this. So we'll have to find a piece of billet aluminum that we can either bolt to or weld. And since I can weld, we'll probably prefer a weld, although that won't be in, the two pieces won't be in full contact. because there'll be an air gap there. There will always be an air gap there. You can't help that. So I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Lots of people do it in the past. Or maybe we'll just bolt it on and we'll put thermal grease, a very thin bead of thermal grease. I think that'd probably be more practical. Is to bolt it and then thermal grease. The risk is that every time you have a junction, your thermal resistivity increases, and you don't want that, because that means you're not transferring heat away from the die. But our situation here is not a good one, because we do need to bolt this onto the back, and we can't really accommodate unless we do some kind of bracket here so that only part of the heatsink sticks out, and then these guys are like this, and the board clamps directly to the bottom, but I'm not sure I like that. So these are just all the little design things that go through a designer's head when they're trying to figure this kind of junk out. It's not a good start. So maybe we'll do some kind of bolt up situation, like 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. We need 4 screws in the corners to attach to the back of the power supply. And yeah, this is gonna be fairly complicated, because if we bolt it on, then these have to miss those bolts too, which means even less room. So I'm gonna have to do some soul searching on this a little bit, and that may actually overstress these thermally. That the heat may not escape the fixture fast enough to get dissipated by the heatsink. So this might not be a good idea, but I have to find if I have a piece of aluminum to even attempt this. So that's going to be the next step, is to see if I even have a piece of aluminum that will even approximate this, which I don't know if I have or not. We'll see.